Rusty Justice. I'm from Pikeville, Kentucky, and I'm an unapologetic hillbilly. And although I'm not a teacher, I greatly admire them. And if I were to get the privilege of teach a group of kids one lecture, it would be a combination of three things. It would be the Beatitudes from the Sermon on the Mount and the Sermon on the Plain. When you combine the Beatitudes from those two passages from the Bible, which speaks to our heart and how we should be and how we should treat one another. And then I would teach physics, the laws of nature that govern us. What are the laws of thermodynamics? What is enthalpy and entropy? What is the conservation of energy mean? What are these principles? And I would teach that with a historical perspective, because I feel like as I observe people graduating from schools, I see people that want to have great impact and lack understanding of the laws of nature, or they don't have a historical perspective of things before them. We have really no original thoughts, even though we might have artificial intelligence. It's just a summation of all the things we already know. And so what we really need is to see where these things have been applied before and worked, or not applied and didn't work. And the iatrogenic impacts or the unexpected consequences of well-intended acts are something I'm very familiar with. And so if we could understand before we act and have the wisdom that comes from the Bible, the Beatitudes, to make our decisions that way, I feel like we would have a more well-rounded student that would have greater impact on the world that student lives in. Here in Appalachia, one of the things that makes us poor is the lack of social capital. Because we are isolated geographically here, we have not had the chance to interact at the highest levels of power in a lot of ways. And so many of our decisions are made externally by people that are well-meaning but lack understanding of this place. And so we need here more people at the grassroots level to have access to people in decision-making in a university, in business, in the corporate world, and while still retaining their roots here. You learn the power of networking, which is something we do here culturally. You know, here it's your family, your friends. What I would teach the child is to value what he has. It's not what that child is lacking. The child can get what it lacks. What the child needs to do is appreciate what it has. And I think that's where we're sorely lacking in our education here, because we teach to standards. And those standards do not include knowledge of your basic area. I have an intern right now working for me that's a 4.0 student, just finished a freshman year in engineering at the University of Kentucky, didn't know the name of the river in front of his house. And so that speaks to the education that young man received growing up. The education does not value what is right here in front of us, what we have, which is pretty amazing. These standards are set by people away from here who are trying their best to do good things. It's not those people are bad, they just lack perspective.